Hey, what's up, guys? Kevin Cage here with another crypto update. I hope everybody's doing all right out there. Today is going to be our monthly iTrustCapital video. We have a bunch to go over today and even more this week. So in today's video, we're going to take a look at the Bitcoin price chart versus the Ethereum price chart now that spot ETF trading is live. And looking at recent news shared by CNBC, Russia approves law allowing the use of crypto for global payments as it faces ongoing sanctions, straying away from the US dollar. And this reminds me of what Ryan or King Solomon found a long time ago. I'm going to link this video where it shows the Central Bank of Russia trialing XRP.
So the Central Bank of Russia's project on the cross-border transfers implementation. In the first half of 2018, the Bank of Russia's Novosibirsk, I'm definitely going to mispronounce that, innovative laboratory. So the innovation lab within the Central Bank of Russia conducted research on testing the possibility of cross-border settlements, not payments, using the Ripple platform. The system technology assumed that the settlement participants had special accounts opened in national payment systems and addresses in the Ripple network. Reflection of operations in national payment systems could be performed both after each transfer and at the end of the trading day or at certain intervals. Based on the research results, it was concluded that the Ripple platform can be considered as the basis for starting work on creating a system of cross-border settlements, provided that the following organizational, legal, and technical issues are resolved. This is where it gets into them certainly testing XRP or exploring use cases for XRP. And there's bullet points here. So assuming that the following organizational, legal, and technical issues are resolved. Use for XRP transfers or equivalents of fiat currencies or dollar-based currencies issued by each participant, the national bank. Determination of a mechanism for reconciling balances between the accounts of Ripple participants and the national payment system. Use of embedded cryptographic solutions on the Ripple network. Development of a procedure for determining cross rates for the internal currency, XRP, when deciding to use XRP in interstate settlements. Maintaining correspondence directories between the addresses of the accounts of Ripple network participants and the accounts of the banks they serve in national payment systems. So, found this pretty interesting, knowing that, kind of where Russia's going, what they're trying to facilitate here. Ripple and XRP certainly aren't the only aspects of testing, I'm sure, within the Central Bank of Russia. But I will kind of give you guys, after I go through this stuff.
So anyways, guys, I thought that was really interesting. Be sure to subscribe to King Solomon. Him and his company, Generation Infinity, are doing really good things for the crypto space. And I thought it was interesting here regarding the system of cross-border settlement saying provided that the following organizational, legal, and technical issues are resolved. So I know here regarding legal issues, they're most likely referring to how Russia can transact in crypto, and we did get some interesting news, but this also just reminds me of the Ripple vs. SEC lawsuit with Brad Garlinghouse's prediction for a final verdict to come before the end of September. And I think out of any potential catalyst for XRP, of course, Bitcoin running is one of them, but positive resolution of this court case is one of the most important things. So just like he said in this video, this was the innovation lab for the Central Bank of Russia. Does it mean that XRP will be used? No, but they've definitely looked at XRP. So that, plus a bunch of other things and connections we've seen over the years, is something that I'll definitely be considering because the Central Bank of Russia has mentioned the company Ripple before. So per usual, all of this is speculation for any asset until we see price action and volume, but definitely interesting. And we've seen a bunch of weird things for the digital asset XRP and the company Ripple, such as this shared by Roth Economan. So back in February of this year, this document noting Ripple partnership with Egypt CIB, which is the Commercial International Bank, was found. Today, the link leads to a different document with no mention of the company Ripple. The partnership is nowhere else confirmed. Was it a mistake, a leak? No other information is available since then. I know there's a lot of speculation with Egypt in particular. We know these other documents like Egypt's largest bank joins RippleNet. This is from a while back. And we also know that Egypt is now part of BRICS, with other countries like Iran, Ethiopia, the UAE, Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa. So quickly looking at the XRP price chart on the monthly time frame, this candle is going to be closing today. We are above the 8-month EMA, with the monthly RSI still over the 50 line or the middle line, which is very important for momentum to stay strong. Going down to the weekly time frame, we can see that XRP is just above the weekly pivot level at 62 cents, which is a key support and resistance level. Turning the pivots off so we can see the chart a bit better and turn the lights on. We have our key levels there. We're going to see how this weekly candle closes in the next 4 days. The RSI is looking good thus far. Going down to the daily just to take a look, we're approaching 70, so we're going to see if we reject this level or break through. Taking a quick look at the Algo and HBAR price chart, these are two other assets available on iTrustCapital. We can see that both of these are below their 50-week moving average, this yellow MA. We can see for Algo, this 50-week has been a very important support along with resistance level. So support, support, and almost like resistance, not a perfect wick. And then looking at HBAR, we can see this 50-week resistance, 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 establishing support. Even that recent wick was a back test. We crashed below, and then we did wick to it again. So for a bunch of altcoins that are below their 50-week moving average, this yellow MA, we definitely want to see us reclaim above this level. For Algo, that is just over 16 cents. The weekly RSI, still very low. We can see HBAR as well. That level is around 7.8, 7.9 cents today. So that weekly RSI is still pointing down. So this is our monthly iTrustCapital video, and we're going to dive into iTrustCapital linked in the video description, but I also want to give an overview of the crypto asset class, why I'm an investor in the crypto asset class, and have a crypto Roth IRA with iTrustCapital. So I know looking at the altcoin market, when it's illiquid, a variety of assets are at their lows. It seems really silly, but I'm a long-term investor in this space because what we've seen over the past 10 plus years is this market moves in cycles. Looking at Bitcoin, even since 2011, we can see that we've witnessed 3 cycles and we're historically in an uptrend. Some cycles are shorter, some cycles are longer, but we're historically seeing these monthly cycles for the Bitcoin price chart and the crypto asset class, even these RSI cups or the momentum, all reaching 90 for the last 3 cycles. And all of these peaks have happened only after Bitcoin sees its first major move or that first large monthly candle surpassing its previous cycle top. So we've yet to see that for the Bitcoin price chart, that first monthly candle. And looking at price action for the Bitcoin price chart after these purple circles are each Bitcoin halving, we are now after a Bitcoin halving and we are coming up to elections this November. We can see price action after elections each cycle. The monthly RSI as of now is still curling up and we're right around like 65, almost 66. So in the scheme of things, we're close, but I want to maintain this uptrend specifically with monthly candle bodies above the 8-month EMA, as we can see right there. And there's really 2 big ways to view this market. You either think that this is going to be a type of triple top structure where we reject or we create another cycle and Bitcoin runs. Looking at our previous cycle tops or the peak of the Bitcoin price chart in 2017 and 2021, the Bitcoin volatility index was a lot higher, from 50 even going over to 100, and we're still very low today at 18.9. So for this cycle, I would like to see Bitcoin's volatility index go a lot higher from here. So I've shared a bunch of this year, specifically just awaiting for official confirmation if Bitcoin is going to get its first major move. Even last cycle, that first major move of the monthly candle, we could look at the wick, but right from the previous cycle top until the peak, a little over 40%. If we got a similar first major move from the previous cycle peak up there, that would take us to 100,000 for Bitcoin, and if we got half of that, that would still take us to over 80K. And looking at the returns over each cycle, we're seeing diminishing returns. The only way Bitcoin breaks the diminishing returns of the previous cycle is if it broke over 240,000. So even Bitcoin at 100,000 or 150K in the future, if it doesn't break over 240,000, that is still diminishing returns compared to the previous cycle. So we know there are about $13 trillion in IRA assets in the United States today. We know that Ripple and Medico predict a $10 trillion crypto market by 2030. We also have by BCG. Tokenization of globally liquid assets estimated to be a $16 trillion business opportunity, with 10% of global GDP being tokenized. We had Brad Garlinghouse predicting the crypto asset class to reach $5 trillion by the end of this year. He said this back in April. I would absolutely love for him to be right. This is about the size of the cloud market today. And then we have Rao's prediction of the liquidity cycles that we see not just in the crypto space, but for tech stocks, the NASDAQ, etc. And I think it's really interesting. So here we have the Bitcoin logarithmic channel. We have the previous 3 Bitcoin cycles, comparing crypto users versus internet users, going over FedNet liquidity versus the interest payments, going over the crypto seasons of spring, summer, fall, and winter. And then this chart definitely keeps me excited of Rao's total liquidity index overlaid with the Bitcoin price chart, arguing for another liquidity cycle in Bitcoin's targets. And there's a million other things I consider looking at the bull run index, not in dark red. We can see the pi cycle top indicator, not at a pi cycle top. Looking at the total crypto market cap, you can see similar to Bitcoin just above the 8-month EMA with a monthly candle body. We can see previous cycles reaching a perfect 4.236 that we've gone over in a previous video, but we're still battling around the 702 Fibonacci retracement today. And even looking at some trend lines in past cycles, we can see when we got the monthly RSI for the total crypto market cap, we got above 90 the last 2 cycles, but this is after Bitcoin led the way with its first major move, so we've yet to see that. Looking at different trend lines here as well, this internal one, we can find support during March 2020, resistance in 2023, and then a recent resistance or high in March of 2024. And then looking at Bitcoin dominance, when Bitcoin dominance crashes historically and Bitcoin is creating higher highs, this has led to the last two alt seasons. We haven't seen that move yet. So just a quick rant, the crypto asset class is just over $2 trillion today, still smaller than the entire cloud market, which is $5 trillion. Other asset classes are valued over $100 trillion. Bonds, equities, real estate, and derivatives. So I know some assets have performed better than others, and some have drawn stronger retracements and others are at their lows, but basically I just want to emphasize we haven't seen the historical alt season where Bitcoin dominance crashes. If we see a big crash like previous cycles, even if it is 20 or 30% and alts don't retrace substantially, I'll be absolutely shocked. And one of the weirdest things, or something that I find really interesting looking at the Bitcoin dominance price chart, is the monthly RSI, or momentum, is at the highest level it's ever been in history, so this is very different to the previous cycles. So there are definitely a lot of similarities to the previous cycles that we've gone over before, but one major difference is how high the monthly RSI is today, and it makes me wonder, are we going to go up in tag 70 or even cross it in the future? And even looking at total 2, this is excluding Bitcoin, we are also holding above the 8-month EMA. I know it's been close, but it looks like our monthly candle body is going to stay above this level. Going down to total 3, this is excluding Bitcoin and ETH. So the entire altcoin market, stablecoins, etc., we're also just holding above the 8-month EMA. So that's my big picture argument for another cycle to occur in the crypto space. Bitcoin is holding the uptrend. We're still above the 8-month EMA. I'm just awaiting for confirmation of the first major move, that first monthly candle. We've even compared the longest cycle length. If it was similar to this length or within the range of 2013 to 2017 using the peak of the price or the peak of the RSI, that range is still September to May of 2025. So this is just for the first major move. Historically, when Bitcoin gets that first major move, we're anywhere above that and running for 200 to 300 days. So that's what I'm waiting for the crypto asset class, whether you are bullish or bearish, provided we hold the structure above the 8-month EMA and we get closer to elections. I believe another cycle is coming. Here's an example of the Bitcoin price chart when spot trading went live. For the Bitcoin spot ETF, we can see that we initially actually crashed a little over 20%, and it took a few months to get in gear and lead to a much bigger retracement. So that's just something I'm considering now that we have trading live for the spot Ethereum ETFs. And overall, I just want to see the Ethereum weekly price chart maintain above this yellow moving average. This is the 50-week moving average, currently at 2680. Okay guys, let's dive into iTrustCapital. I have this linked in the top of the YouTube video description, and I've had a Roth IRA with them for over 4 years. So I've been a big fan of iTrustCapital. I know it's 10 times more fun during actual bullish cycles, but to have an account, it is completely free. There are no monthly account fees. There are no startup fees. I'm paying absolutely nothing unless I buy or sell my asset. So I have holdings long term in my iTrustCapital Roth IRA like XRP, and I'm simply just holding. If I ever see an opportunity to do a swing trade or even go back to the US dollar, I can 24/7. So in past videos under my iTrustCapital playlist, we've gone over the 7 types of retirement accounts available on iTrustCapital. We've also done a deep dive into 10 Roth IRA benefits, and now I'm going to play a quick clip of the CEO of iTrustCapital, Kevin Maloney, going over some interesting information and announcing 20 to 30 new options coming out later this year. We've also gone over in previous videos what we think they could be. And that's in addition to a bunch of other altcoins being listed in the future.
Now we have 200,000 people that have signed up. I would say about 51,000 are very active. We've done close to 10 billion in transactions. And we custody about $3.5 billion in assets. So we're starting to become, we're maturing a little bit in this space, and we're only 5 years old. And there's 13 trillion in IRA assets out there to be managed in the US. People say we're the biggest. We have 3 billion. And so we're just really small, but we're thankful that we have a chance to be here. And I think the sky's the limit on what we can do together as an industry. But the perfect customer, in all seriousness, is really that forward-looking individual. These are working professionals across America, 35 to 60. They're not betting the farm. They're mature investors. They've been through multiple cycles. And they're curious enough to want to participate in a blockchain economy because they appreciate the opportunity to possibly get in at the ground floor of some projects. We're not a broker-dealer. We're not a registered investment advisor. We don't make recommendations. We don't have a sales team. We don't pay commissions to anybody. But it is exciting to work with these clients every day that are rolling over their retirement, that are shifting assets. Again, not betting the farm, but they're probably allocating anywhere from 5 to 20% of their portfolio to crypto. iTrustCapital is not the only option. There's a couple of decent other players out there. We think we're winning because we're not overcharging. We're really transparent about our strengths and weaknesses. You all tell us what our weaknesses are. And we appreciate that. We're also winning because we pick up the phone with a smile and we'll answer your email in almost real time. We just hired another 30 client servicing agents. So if you have talented people that are curious and want to participate, we're always hiring. And I think that's why we're winning. So iTrustCapital.com. Love to work with anybody out there. We're going to be adding 20 to 30 more options over the next 90 to 120 days. We're launching some new products and services second half of this year. And just excited to be here, humbled by all of the support we've had in the industry.
So I thought that was interesting, and I'm definitely excited to see these options launch as soon as possible. And this has nothing to do with new crypto holdings. This is more so, from my understanding, yield-bearing options. But I do know there are plans to add a bunch more assets. If we look at iTrustCapital today, they have 30 to 40 plus different assets available. I remember the CEO of iTrustCapital basically saying in the future closer to 100 assets, which would be awesome. What we're seeing for most mature investors in this space is they're typically allocating their funds towards Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Solana. We can see XRP at 62 cents. We've mapped the important weekly levels above and below, and basically, final resolution of this court case could be a really big deal for XRP, alongside any ETFs in the future for Solana and a bunch of other assets. So overall, I'm looking forward to more options coming to iTrustCapital, more products, yield-bearing options, and of course more crypto assets. And that's convenient because it doesn't necessarily tempt me to leave. If I ever got bored of crypto or wanted to go to another custodian, I can just close my account and roll it over to Vanguard and play in the S&P 500. I'm just not really interested in doing that, looking at the upside potential in the best case considering the tokenization stats and all these other predictions. And the nice thing about Roth IRAs is that you can have multiple, and this will affect the annual contribution limit, but for more traditional or conservative investors, they can still have a Roth IRA in the crypto asset class and still have exposure to the S&P 500, bonds, etc. And one nice thing is that they leverage a qualified custodian. Many organizations in this space don't, and per their terms, if iTrustCapital ever went out of business, I get my money by law. We can't say the same for many exchanges, and that's why it's so important to self-custody for any assets that you're not immediately trading. Could exchanges be fine? Yeah, we've seen a bunch of KYC, AML regulation across the board. We know that Coinbase has been secure for years, just as an example of a #1 exchange, but you just never know. And compared to my normal holdings, I look at my holdings and my Roth IRA is really long-term, and that's a coping mechanism you learn in crypto, but I like having the option to have a crypto retirement account, a tax-free growth vehicle in the crypto space as long as I'm a US resident. So in Puerto Rico, I'm a US resident. If I move to Florida, move back to Chicago over the coming decades, I'm still good. So not everybody is a fan of retirement accounts in general, especially in the crypto space, and it's different for each person, but it was a big fit for me because I had a Roth IRA in the S&P 500. I moved into crypto years ago and then moved to iTrustCapital. And what I like about a Roth IRA is that I can always withdraw my contributions from a Roth IRA with no penalty whatsoever, but waiting until age 59 and a half, I can withdraw both contributions and earnings with no penalty. So what if I make a lot of money in a future crypto cycle? The Roth IRA is sitting really heavy and I want to take profit. I still can. I would just have to pay taxes and I believe a 10% penalty. Of course, every single situation is different. It's not like I'd have to withdraw all of my IRA if I wanted to take profits. I would have to run the numbers and see if it's even worth it. Do I need liquidity? Do I want that liquidity? But I always have that option, and that's important to remember. So I can see the value of having a retirement account or multiple retirement accounts in any asset class because it helps you keep that long-term vision looking over the decades instead of just next month. And the nice thing about iTrustCapital is you can open up an account with as little as $1,000 to get your feet wet. You can start small, let it sit. You can add some contributions if you want and just get used to it. So for anybody interested, we have iTrustCapital linked in the top of this YouTube video description and in the pinned comment. You can navigate to the link. You can even click how it works and how to get started. It's super easy nowadays. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Just a big rant on the crypto asset class, where we're at, looking at previous cycles, whether you believe we go up or down. Price action is what attracts attention, developer activity, funding, etc. And none of this is financial advice. Every person's situation is different. I'm aware of the risks in a nascent asset class, and I'm also aware of the rewards if we get another liquidity cycle. I've experienced part of 2017 and 2021, and that's my bet, and I'm impatiently waiting for the next one. I also reposted on X a Casper security update that we're going to dive into this week. We can see $6.7 million, a total of 13 wallets were affected. We'll go through this. Am I happy about it? Absolutely not, but just friendly reminder, Solana has gone down, Ethereum has been hacked before, even Gala back in May lost over $200 million. So in the scheme of things, it could have been much, much worse. So we're going to dive into that this week. Gala is still here, it's still going, but Gala is more established than Casper, and it also experienced a bull run last cycle. So the timing of all of this, an all-time low price, new CTO, IPW back in January, it just seems like everything that could go wrong has gone wrong. Anyways, we're going to dive into that and a bunch of information this week. Thank you guys so much for watching today's video. If you enjoyed this video, please consider hitting the like button and sharing your thoughts down below. As always, you can find all links, including resources for charting, trading bots, platforms, wallets, portfolio trackers, and exclusive discounts in my link tree at the top of the video description. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.